The company that spent 2 decades promising to colonize Mars just changed its mind. And almost nobody understands what that actually means. Because this is not just a space story. This is not just another Elon changed the timeline headline. This is a strategic pivot that could reshape artificial intelligence, energy infrastructure, geopolitics, and the global economy all at once. For 20 years, SpaceX had one North Star: Mars. Not the moon, not low Earth orbit, Mars. And now, the priority is building a self-growing city on the moon. That's not a small adjustment, that's a fundamental shift in strategy. I've been following Elon Musk and his companies since 2012. I've watched the impossible deadlines, the failures, the ridicule, and then the breakthroughs that nobody thought could happen. And I'm telling you right now, this might be the most important strategic decision SpaceX has ever made. Let's break down what's really happening. For more than 2 decades, every major engineering decision at SpaceX pointed toward Mars. Starship Negum, the most powerful rocket ever built, was designed specifically for Mars landings. It's taller than the Statue of Liberty. It can carry over 100 tons to orbit. It exists because Mars was the goal. As recently as early 2025, Musk publicly said the moon was a distraction. Then suddenly, SpaceX announced it's prioritizing building a self-sustaining lunar city. Mars is delayed 5 to 7 years. If you only look at headlines, this feels like another Elon timeline slip. It's not. It's strategy. And the physics explain why. Mars is roughly 225 million kilometers away. The journey takes 6 months. And because of orbital mechanics, you only get a good launch window every 26 months. Miss the window? You wait over 2 years. If something fails on Mars, and something will fail, you troubleshoot from 225 million kilometers away and wait years to try again. Now compare that to the moon, 384,000 kilometers away, 2 days of travel, launch windows roughly every 10 days. For a company built on rapid iteration, launch, fail, fix, launch again, that difference is everything. SpaceX became dominant because of iteration speed. They made rockets reusable when the entire aerospace industry said it was impossible. They landed boosters on drone ships. They caught a 23-story rocket booster out of the sky using mechanical arms. They built Starlink, now providing internet across the globe and generating billions annually. Iteration speed wins. On Mars, iteration takes years. On the moon, iteration takes weeks. This is not retreat, it's acceleration. But that's just the engineering layer. Now let's talk about the real reason this matters. Earlier this year, SpaceX merged with xAI, Musk's artificial intelligence company. The combined entity is reportedly valued at around $1.25 trillion, making it potentially the most valuable private company in history. That merger changes everything because now this isn't just about rockets, it's about AI infrastructure. AI is hitting a wall on Tesla, not in intelligence, but in energy. The power demands of modern AI systems are exploding. Massive data centers require enormous electricity. Companies like Microsoft are even reviving nuclear facilities like 3 Mile Island Nuclear Generating Station to meet demand. The grid can't scale fast enough. Musk's answer: put compute in space. In orbit, you have continuous, uninterrupted solar energy, no clouds, no nighttime, no grid congestion, just pure sunlight 24/7. Now imagine the architecture forming. xAI becomes the brain, SpaceX becomes the transport and space infrastructure. Tesla builds the robotics layer to construct and maintain it all. And where do you build large-scale space infrastructure? The moon. The moon isn't a consolation prize, it's an industrial platform. Musk has talked about using lunar regolith, moon soil, to manufacture components on the surface. He's discussed electromagnetic mass drivers, essentially giant rail systems, to launch materials into space without rocket fuel. He's described massive AI satellite constellations manufactured from lunar resources. It sounds like science fiction, until you remember that reusable rockets also sounded like science fiction. Now add geopolitics. China is targeting a crewed lunar landing by 2030. They're advancing missions like Chang'e 7 and Chang'e 8. They're developing heavy-lift rockets and building long-term lunar infrastructure plans. Meanwhile, NASA's Artemis 3rd mission has slipped to no earlier than 2028. The last humans stepped on the moon in 1972, 56 years ago. The geopolitical reality is simple. Whoever establishes sustained presence on the moon first gains leverage. Water ice at the lunar south pole can be split into hydrogen and oxygen for fuel and life support. Control over infrastructure shapes space governance. Industrial capability in orbit could redefine energy markets and AI dominance. This is no longer just exploration, this is infrastructure control. And then there's the IPO. SpaceX is reportedly targeting a public offering in the coming years. Public markets demand milestones, they demand timelines, they demand cash flow narratives. Mars is visionary, it's inspiring, but it's hard to model financially. A lunar base with government contracts, commercial launches, potential tourism, and AI satellite manufacturing, that's measurable, that's bankable. The moon transforms SpaceX from a bet on genius into a bet on execution. Investors understand execution. Let's zoom out. 5 things are happening at once. First, SpaceX is de-risking Mars by proving technology on the moon, orbital refueling, life support, surface operations. Second, the XAI merger connects AI, robotics, and space infrastructure into one integrated system. Third, China's lunar ambitions create political urgency. Fourth, IPO ambitions require near-term milestones. Fifth, lunar resources make economic sense sooner than Martian colonization. Mars remains the dream. The moon is the step you can actually take. Now, let's be honest, the timeline could slip. It probably will. Musk's timelines are almost always optimistic. Building a self-sustaining lunar city in under a decade is an enormous challenge. Radiation shielding, extreme temperatures, lunar dust that destroys equipment, closed-loop life support systems that don't yet exist at scale. These are massive problems. But here's the pattern: announce the impossible, miss the timeline, endure the ridicule, and then deliver something that changes the industry. Reusable rockets, global satellite internet, autonomous vehicles scaling faster than anyone expected. Every breakthrough looked insane until it worked. So here's the question that really matters. If SpaceX establishes a permanent lunar presence before China, if it begins manufacturing in space, if it builds orbital AI data centers powered by continuous solar energy, if it integrates robotics, AI, and space infrastructure into one cohesive system, does that change the global balance of power? Does it change energy markets? Does it redefine AI economics? Does it create an entirely new industrial revolution of Earth? Because that's what this pivot signals. This is not about abandoning Mars, it's about building the foundation first. SpaceX may have just shifted from chasing an impossible dream to executing a calculated industrial master plan. And if that's true, we are watching the early stages of something much bigger than a moon base. We are watching the construction of the next economic platform, and we are living in one of the most extraordinary technological moments in human history. The only real question is this: are we witnessing the beginning of humanity's second industrial revolution, and this time in space? Because if the answer is yes, then the moon isn't a distraction, it's the launch pad for everything that comes next.